Okay, hi everyone. I accidentally launched my YouTube channel yesterday. I thought I had launched it like 3 years ago, but I tried to Google it and found out that all my videos are private. So I made one public yesterday, and it apparently launched my channel because people started watching. So, in honor of that and Mother's Day today, I decided to do a pick a card reading today. I've never done one before, actually. I mean, I've been doing tarot for like 20 years, and I've been doing readings for other people for like 5 or 8 or something. My dog is making a lot of noise. And I got a new mic, but it doesn't seem to be working very well, so I apologize for the sound. I'm going to have to get my tech boys to help me with that. Okay, so what I am going to do today is a Mother's Day, what do you need to know reading. And I'm going to pull 2 cards for like generally what do you need to know, and then some clarification cards for that. And then I'll do timestamps for which deck if you've never done a pick a card reading before. So what you do is you choose a deck right now that you feel like calls to you. This is the Rider-Waite deck. This is the Spacious Tarot. And then next is also my camera glitches. But I just can't, I don't feel like waiting until I have it all together to make videos. It's quarantine, and I feel like people have time to watch tarot videos right now, or if they don't have time, they might just make time because you might just need some input from the universe. Okay, so the last deck number 3, is the Tarot del Fuego. This one is kind of gross and kind of funny. It's a little dramatic, so consider yourself warned. This is a traditional, like one of the oldest and most traditional decks. This one is the one in the middle is a brand new deck that just came out last year. I find it sort of mystical or magical or something, but very soothing. And then there's a Tarot del Fuego, which is disturbing and funny. Well, I think it's funny. Not everybody might. Anyway, so choose your deck. I'll put the timestamps below. And then I'll start with deck number 1. Deck number 1. Spirit, what messages? I'm going to go with the Page of Cups because it's a Mother's Day reading, the Page of Cups being a child. So whether you have an actual physical child, somehow my dog, every time I take a bone away from him today, he finds another one. I didn't know we had that many bones, so that's what's happening in the background. If it's an actual child or if it's like a pet or something like that. But the message, just indicating to me that this message is actually about the child. And what I'm getting is that your child is needing to leave something behind and go away, probably not for real, not in reality, but like go on like a sort of like a quest or something. I mean, depending on the age of the child, it sort of needs to like maybe either have time alone or go off on its own in a way that has not happened before. Like, I don't know, maybe just somehow, and maybe because it's quarantine, like leave behind some emotional stuff or baggage and I think the message is probably going to have to do with needing to facilitate this child's like moving into a new phase kind of a thing. But let's pull some clarification cards. Oh, look at all these cups. I did shuffle before this also. I guess you can't see these, so I'm gonna, there's the, you know what, I'll put them down here. This is the Five of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Four of Wands. Okay. And this is a general reading, of course, so for however many people see this, it will be a little more vague than a reading if you like ordered your own reading. It'll be much, much more specific. But this, hopefully this message will resonate with you in some way. And if not, you can just leave it. You can not pay any attention to it. So again, I have the Five of Cups. So there's something about this child is really sad or missing something right now. And I feel like the child is needing, or again, you know, if this is a pet, I don't know, whatever, is needing more, like this is a card of like legacy, abundance, family loyalty, things like that. The child is needing more like stability and connection to actual family, but because I have the Devil next to it, and then the Four of Wands is also like a card of home and family in a way, so I feel like what this is saying, because it's like every other card in this reading, it's like, it's sort of like every other card is like a card of like longing or negativity or some kind of a, you know, there are no like negative cards per se, but so it's sort of like an up and down reading. Like there's this and then there's that. So I feel like what it's saying is that the child needs more like actual connection with the family, possibly with more extended family, or that's what they're sad about. But there is the Devil, so there is some sort of like codependency issues, either within your own nuclear family or within the larger family, that are preventing that from happening in some way. And your child needs some way to like move up to the next level and be able to celebrate, just because of where we're at right now and because of what's depicted in the card. I don't always read it as like an outdoor thing, but I think your child really needs and craves some like outdoor sort of family time. And I should say in this card, when it shows family, it doesn't have to be, you know, just like it doesn't have to be your child, it could be a pet. This does not have to be like actual like relatives. It could be like your soul family. It could just be your child is just really, really missing the connections of like, you know, what some people call their soul family, like maybe your friend and family groups or their friend and family groups. And actually this message seems like kind of generic for quarantine because probably like every child is feeling this way right now. So let me see if there's what I can find out that's like more specific for not just like what every kid would need during quarantine, but like, oh, and I forgot to mention that the King of Cups under the deck has to do with, it can have to do with like emotional stability or mastery of emotions. So I feel like what it's saying is that your child is sort of doing okay with it and not really showing too much that this is going on. Maybe, I mean, it could be in an unhealthy way, but probably it's in a healthy way, just sort of like understanding that it's like a cultural situation right now. Although if you read this later in the year, then this wouldn't necessarily be about quarantine because I don't know how long it's going to go on. So it could be that your child is, and nobody's paying attention to your kid in this regard, or maybe your kid isn't even showing it. Okay, so this is a more specific thing that's not just about quarantine. Is that something that would really benefit your child right now. Oh, because we were talking about this sort of like quest or like different, moving into a different thing, is the Three of Pentacles. Your kid really needs some collaborative either direction or activity. And these two cards together remind me of an apprenticeship kind of a situation. So I feel like it's saying that it would be really good advice for you to facilitate your child in finding something that is kind of like an apprenticeship. It could be with someone in this like soul family kind of thing. And if there's like a quarantine restriction on seeing certain people, then it could be an online thing or through the mail, like writing letters back and forth. For example, my uncle offered, I did not take him up on it, but when I was seven, my uncle offered to play chess with me through the mail, like snail mail, because there was no other mail at the time. He wanted to like each of us mail our next move to the other person. I guess that was like a thing. So it could even be something like that. It'd be really helpful if you could facilitate your child finding somebody, preferably in some like a closer connection, kind of a community, someone that might be in their life longer term, that can help them work on some kind of a project in like a mentorship position. Now it could be if your child is older or has like precocious skills in some area, that it would be a vice versa situation where like maybe your kid, the soul of your child wants you to help find them students. For example, if you have, like my son plays guitar and he's actually taught my friends guitar before, starting really young. So it could be something like that. Like if you could somehow facilitate like an apprenticeship mentorship situation for your kid, that would really help them either during this quarantine or just during this year. And it would also, because this is a Mother's Day reading, like this would really help you. It would take some pressure off the case. I feel like it's saying this will help lead to this like next step that they need to get to, in like, which is like I mean, this is like a celebration, outdoor celebration, like new level relation investment. And you might not see the results. You'll see the results because they'll be busy, but it really could be something. And if you're having trouble deciding what it would be like, maybe think about, could it be something that has long-term potential for them, like a life skill, like there's a lot of life skills, obviously. I mean, playing chess would be one. It's like you could play chess for the rest of your life. Tennis, you can play for the rest of your life. Guitar, you can play for the rest of your life. More so than something that's more like just for kids, for example. If possible, that would be helpful, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, if that's all you can think of. The Spacious Tarot. These decks were already shuffled. I just like to do it a little extra before a reading. So this is pile number 2 of cards. Okay. So again, I'm going to pull the 2 cards about the general, what this is about. The 2 of Wands and the Lovers. So what Mother's Day messages do we have for you here? Bottom of the deck, you can't really see it, Explorer of Pentacles. So let me start with the bottom of the deck this time before I forget. The Explorer of Pentacles is like it's like a Knight of Pentacles. So it's like a slow and steady progress situation. So the underlying energy here is like, whatever this message is for you, it's going to be something that is slow and steady progress message. And the 2 of Wands and the Lovers. Okay, what am I getting here? there's something about making a decision here. This message has to do with, I don't know if you're either in a situation where you're thinking about making a huge, big choice or move forward in life, or moving into a new situation in life where, I mean, it could actually literally have to do with like a soul mate or a lover. Like maybe you're thinking of leaving your current partner, or maybe moving away to be with a new partner, or moving in with a new partner, or something about a new partner potentially, or and that would affect, you know, your children. And again, I said in the last reading, I haven't said in this one, this could even be pets. Like if you don't have children, this could be like about your pets or something. And I mean, maybe even in this case, it could even have to do with your own mother. You know, maybe there's some kind of a vision you have for the life of your mother that is like, you're kind of half in, half out, like not really sure how to move forward with maybe traveling to be closer to her, or something about moving related to her. But it's some kind of like a soul mate or partnership situation that you're wanting to make a decision about. But it's very clear that you are in a position to make a decision, like a big decision this year or soon. Here's the clarification cards. 10 of Cups, Guardian of Swords, the Star, and the Guardian of Wands. So remember I said it's a slow moving situation, so I think it's like a decision that you need to take your time in making, or once you make it, it might take you a lot of time to implement it. But considering these cards, I mean, it looks like a good, well, I guess we haven't decided which decision you're going to make, but it's a decision that really feels like it involves your happiness very, very strongly. Potentially, it involves having to give somebody bad news, possibly receiving bad news, but probably more likely giving somebody news that, I mean, not bad news, but like something that they might not want to hear, but that will lead you into a lot more passion, hope, and creativity. So there is a lot on the line here in this decision that you're needing to make. I feel like there's a lot of relationships involved in this decision. Like whatever you are trying to decide about is something that's going to affect a lot of people. Potentially feeling like at least one person might feel like sort of left out in the cold, and it might feel like kind of like a long shot. But there is a way to make the right decision that will leave you feeling really empowered and passionate and creative and inspired, and a way to make that decision in a way that's really like diplomatic and fair. And in fact, I feel like it's even saying like the way for you to handle it might be to be willing to you know, give some information. It's also about focus. It's not there's something about like just doing it, like kind of like ripping off the band-aid about having to communicate about something. But then, and that might be followed by a period of some solitude actually, or some sort of feeling of like not loneliness, but like destiny, but like it could feel, you might just feel very, very small. You might feel really small afterwards, but like super protected. Or if you don't feel super protected, this is saying that you will be. And then you can move into this energy of being like, passionate leader moving forward, like probably a leader of your family moving forward. But I'm going to pull some advice cards about this, because this feels like how, I'm not sure if you need guidance. I mean, maybe you don't need any guidance about which decision to make. Maybe you kind of already know, and all you needed to know is that this is a big deal. But I'm going to pull 3 cards anyway for advice. 3 of Pentacles. That's the one I got for the advice on the last one. Elder of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. Okay, so you got 2 3s. And now I accidentally looked at the bottom of the deck again, and I got the Elder of Wands, which is the King of Wands, which goes with the Queen of Wands. So again, indicating that it likely involves a relationship between 2 adults is more of what your reading is about. The last one is more about parent-child. I mean, obviously the adult relationships affect the children. This one you got 2 3s, so I feel like it's about, like multiple people, multiple collaborative relationships, and the advice is mostly to be this bear, this Elder of Pentacles guy, or gal, whatever, whoever this is. It doesn't matter what gender, or if it even has a gender. But the Elder of Pentacles represents the very, very mature, stable energy. And again, I'm really sorry that I could see my camera glitching, and I'm really sorry. I think the advice is to be like very, very mature. Again, that slow-moving energy. A lot of wisdom and care. It's not as much of a wise decision, though. I mean, it's not the Knight, it's not the King of Swords. It's about, I mean, there's finances involved, it looks like to me. You've gotten 3 Pentacles, so there are some financial things to think about. But overall, just like definitely act wise and mature. And be a leader, and don't hide anything. Be really honest, and realize that you need to look at the long-term vision too. I feel like, it sounds like you just have a lot of things to weigh here, and that you need to make your decision carefully, but have faith that it's all going to work out okay. And if you start to do something wrong, make a decision that's not right for you, I think you'll know, because you will. How will you know? You know what? I'm just going to pull a card for that. How will you know if you're going the wrong way? Got another Pentacle, Child of Pentacles. So this is sort of like you're going the right way if you're this bear, and the wrong way if you're this bear or prairie dog or whatever it is. And the difference between them is not much. What am I seeing? I think just honestly, like if you feel mature, if you feel like you're making a wise decision, like you're in your highest wisdom, like sort of like maybe walk around your house and be like, I'm in my highest wisdom, or go for a walk and be like, well, how would I act and feel if I was in my highest wisdom? And then think about, well, how would I act if I was feeling really immature and childlike and silly? And in this particular case, sometimes you should definitely make decisions as if you were childlike and silly, but this is not one of those cases. So I guess the advice is just like, make sure you're thinking things through before you make decisions and considering feelings and finances and things like that. Okay, so that was pick a card number 2 stack. And then the next one is going to be Mother's Day message for the Tarot del Fuego, which I've never done a reading with a stack. I just got it. I've shuffled it a bunch of times. So this is my first time, and I'm a little bit nervous because these cards, I don't really have a relationship with them yet. So they're really bizarre and kind of creepy. So my apologies if you chose this stack, but messages for Mother's Day 2020. What do you need to know? Justice and the Hangman. So this is a big deal. Whatever you need to know, because those are 2 major arcana cards. You got the Knight of Pentacles, which is what the last people got underneath the deck. That's also a slow-moving energy card. So this is like a slow thing, maybe like something you need to know over the year. It's not really maybe going to affect you right away, but it's Justice and the Hanged Man. So you need to know that there's like a big decision coming up for you. It could involve there's a big decision that you either are about to make, are in the process of making, or someone else is making on your behalf that could be involving like the actual justice system, or just some sort of like big shift of like, I guess, karma or something like that, like needing to like make a decision about something that has been a long time in coming. And then the Hanged Man is, well, it can be about a variety of things. In this case, I feel like it's going to put you, whatever this is, it's going to put you into a place of like either total surrender or just like kind of turn your world upside down. Everything looks really scary in this deck, but I don't get that much of a sense that it's that scary. I mean, it might feel scary to you right now or at the time, but overall, I get a sense it's gonna be okay. Okay, I'm gonna pull some clarification on this. What is this situation about? King of Cups, 7 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, so you got 2 sevens, and the King of Swords, so you got 2 kings too. So let's see. I feel like this situation has to do with there's something confusing, there's something where you feel like you're working against something, and it's going to require you to be like really emotionally stable and to really ground yourself, and also to be very wise and intellectual but also open-minded and willing to be different things to different people. So if you are like a parent, for example, since it's a Mother's Day reading, maybe you're a parent, or taking care of a parent or something, you might need to wear many hats. Coming up regarding this big change that you are going through or about to go through, and I don't feel like it's that confusing. I just feel like there's a lot of different choices and things to consider. But I feel like it's saying that you are probably, I feel like you're not going to be that confused. I feel like there's a lot of different things you could do, and it's probably not that important. To some degree, I feel like one of the messages is that, like, as long as you, like, stay in your wisdom and your, like, stay level-headed and, I guess, like, heart-centered, and don't let yourself fall into any sort of emotional wreckage or angry actions or anything like that, that the choices before you, it feels like kind of like a really fated situation, so that you can't really screw it up. So maybe that's one of your messages, is that, like, if little decisions have to be made along the way, it's gonna, like, course correct. If it feels like you made the wrong one, it'll course correct, or it might not, just doesn't even really matter, some of these little decisions, because this situation just feels so fated to me, that you're kind of just going to go with it. And I think you're going to handle it really well, is really the sense that I get. And if you're like a spiritual person, I feel like you're going to be helped out by, like, what stressed. Go find something, especially something like that you uses your hands, like not a screen, but like some little, like, going around and doing like detail work on something in the physical world would be really, really helpful, or like tinkering with something or cleaning things or something. Okay, and then I'm going to pull you 3 advice cards. I feel like there's already a lot of advice there, but 3 more advice cards for, like, the time moving forward. 9 of Wands, Queen of Cups, and 8 of Swords. So I feel like this is saying, no matter how much you might want to look back, whatever the situation is, keep going. Keep going, because you're on the right, you have what it takes to, like, keep going. So, like I was saying, it probably won't be too confusing, but you might have little decisions to make, and it might seem like, I mean, whatever this is, it's not like a sudden thing. So I think something that's been a long time coming, but that's just like a big change. That's all it is. So don't be, like, alarmed that something's gonna, like, strike you all of a sudden. This is something I'm pretty sure you already know what this is. It's not gonna be a surprise. But another piece of advice, especially if you have kids or pets, or just anyone that you've, like, kind of take care of, to be very, very loving and nurturing during this time. I mean, also to yourself, but definitely to them. And again, if you get really stressed, all those tips I said before about grounding and meditation and stuff. And then another piece of advice here is just be aware that just because you know, don't know anything you don't know, or any sort of restrictions you feel is totally normal and okay. And as your thinking changes, I think your thinking is going to like slowly start to line up better with this King of Swords. I think it's saying it's possible for you to just become like kind of like being able to master your thoughts. But anytime you feel like you can't and you feel like stuck, just, yeah, I would head back into meditation, any kind of meditation, to get you out of that belief, because it's not true. Because it's just like a prison of your own thinking, and just be aware, like, I'm being a prisoner of my own thinking right now. There's like something I can do to get out of this situation, which is in your head. I mean, getting out of the situation in your head, like your negative thoughts about it. There's like a variety of things you could do to get out of it. Okay, and that is your reading. So please push like on this video, because I want to see what happens with this channel. And also let me know if that was helpful to you, or if it resonated or whatever. And yeah, leave that in the comments if you want. Thank you very much. That was fun.